A very warm welcome to all our students and viewers, whether you are watching it here directly or on Facebook Live. So, as you know, that we at the Center for Constitutional Law and Policy have been carrying out a number of events, a number of exchanges, both at the national level as well as international level, with respect to topics anywhere remotely or directly related to constitutional law. So we have developed a very healthy culture, and in furtherance of the same, today again we'll be discussing on a very interesting topic, that is artificial intelligence and human rights. And for that, we have got a very to the point, should I speak, resource person, that is Mr. Murtaza Mohiki, who is a PhD student at Ferdowsi University of Mashhad in Iran, and a member of the Department of Private Law in the Faculty of Law at Gurjistan University, Afghanistan, where he was Executive Secretary of Gurjistan Research Center and has taught Afghanistan law since 2014. He also teaches legal research methodology. Mr. Moiki has been employed as a legal consultant, a human rights researcher, and a law lecturer, and has given guest lectures at the Ferdowsi University of Mashhad. He has previously held positions as a journal editor in several nationally accredited journals and has published in local and international journals. So he's an assistant professor primarily at Gurjistan University and a visiting professor at the Ferdowsi University. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We are really elated to have you with us on the virtual platform at Parul University.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. I'd like, first of all, to thank the organizer of this meeting for inviting me here today, especially Dr. Faiz. Wish you a good day and welcome to my presentation. Let me thank you all for coming here. Um, what I'd like to present to you today is artificial intelligence and human rights. I've divided my presentation into three main parts: AI meaning, human rights meaning, and relationship between human rights and artificial intelligence. If you don't mind, we'll have a question till the end. Yeah.
Definitely, sir.
My presentation. Don't move.
Yeah, it is visible, sir. You may start.
Yes. Unfortunately, don't move my presentation. Yes. Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Um, so let me first give you a brief overview. As you know, technology has always had a strong impact on the course of human history. Yet the pace of technological progress has never been as swift and its effect on human as direct, technological, and wide-ranging as they are now. At the age of the first industrial revolutions, artificial intelligence, which is the key driver of it, is broadly considered to be a determining factor for the future of humanity, as it will substantially transform individual lives and impact on human communities. Predictive algorithms inherent to AI are frequently deployed for important decisions such as university admissions, loan decisions, and human resource management, but also for border control, including at airports and crime prevention through predicting policing practices and the use within the criminal justice system or of risk assessment instrument in repeat offending. However, the long-term effects of AI on human and society are still far from being clear. While AI may generate great opportunities in advancing economic and social progress, it also presents a series of complex challenges. On the one hand, AI is hoped to bring about a substantial increase in productivity and economic growth, scientific breakthrough, improving healthcare, higher life expectancy, security, and ever rising convenience. On the other hand, there are fears that AI might severely disrupt labor market around the globe, lead an increased income, wealth, and social inequality, and jeopardize social and political stability, as well as international security. Yes, in this part of my presentation, I'd like to talk about AI meaning. What is AI? Artificial intelligence is an umbrella term used to describe different types of technologies. Through AI comes in many flavors and varieties. At its heart, AI is the use of computer to help perform tasks automatically that could previously only be done by human. This intelligent behavior of pattern matching driver the ability to collect, organize, and analyze data to organize insight and complete different tasks. As you know, AI require four components to work successfully. One, strategy questions, data, algorithms, and tools. Tools means computer and software. Artificial intelligence, yes, that's meaning of AI. Okay, let me now turn to issue of human rights. Human rights, the belief that everyone, by virtue of her or his humanity, is entitled to certain human rights is fairly new. Its tools, however, lie in earlier tradition and documents of many cultures. It took the catalyst of World War II to people human rights onto the global stage and into the global consciousness. Through much of history, people acquired rights and responsibilities through their membership in a group, a family, a religion, class, community, or state. Most scientists have had traditions similar to the golden rule of do unto other as you would have them do unto you. The Hindu Vedas, the Babylonian Code of Hammurabi, the Bible, the Quran, and the other are five of the oldest written sources which addresses question of people duties, rights, and responsibilities. In addition, in Inca and Aztec codes of conduct and justice and an Iroquois constitution were Native American sources that existed well before the 18th century. In fact, as you know, all societies, whether in oral or written tradition, have a system of property and justice as well as way of tending to the health and welfare of their members. The idea of human rights emerged stronger after World War II. Member states of the United Nations emerged stronger after World War, pledged to promote respect for the human rights for all. To advance this goal, the United Nations established a commission on human rights and charged it with the task of drafting a document spelling out of meaning of the fundamental rights and freedom proclaimed in the Charter. The Commission, guided by Eleanor Roosevelt leadership, on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights (UDHR) was adopted by the members of the United Nations. The vote was unanimous. Also, 8 nations chose abstain. Yes. In this part, we look at two families of human rights. As you know, human rights divides in two parts. One, civil and political rights, and two, social, economic, and cultural rights. Civil and political rights includes rights to life and human dignity, rights to physical and mental integrity, rights to liberty and security of persons, freedom from torture and ill treatment, right to a fair trial and due judicial process, right to effective remedy, and freedom of thought, consistence and religion, freedom of expression and opinion, right to respect for private and family life, right to the protection of personal data, right to non-discrimination, right to equality before the law, freedom of assembly and association, right to participate in the conduct of public affairs, and two, social, economic, and cultural rights includes right to just, safe, and healthy working conditions, right to fair remuneration, right to vocational training, right to equality of opportunity in the workplace, right to organize and collectively bargain, right to social security, and right to education, right to an adequate standard of living, right to social and medical assistance, right to protection of health, right of protection for migrant workers, right for elderly persons to social protections, right to protection against sexual harassment, right to protection against poverty and social exclusions. So, that's the background on AI and human rights. This leads directly to my next point. My next point is AI and human rights, opportunities and risks. divided two parts: opportunities and two risks. Yes. Artificial intelligence technology provide a range of opportunities for the improvement of human lives and the function of governments. The power, scale, and speed of AI systems can improve efficiency and effectiveness in numerous domains, including healthcare, transport, education, and public administration. They can take over tedious, dangerous, unpleasant, and complicated tasks from human workers. However, AI technologies also have the potential to negatively, that's important, negatively impact human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. These combined opportunity and risks should be understood in light of AI being so technical. AI is a broad range of sophisticated technologies that operate in human contents designed to fulfill human defining goals. As such, AI technologies can be said to reflect the values and choices of the people who build and use them. Yes. AI can be applied to make predictions about human behavior or identify indicators of disease and to access risk posed to the interests or well-being of others. All of these tasks may affect the rights. That's important. Opportunities and well-being of those upon whom they are used. For this reason, ultimately, accountability is an essential aspect of developing and using such system. While AI can take over tedious or complex tasks from humans, the choice involved in the construction and use of AI system can result in the reproduction of harmful bias and other biases of human judgment that adversely impact affect individual and wider society in ways that are harder to identify than when done by humans. Yes. In addition to evaluating the technical future of a particular system or technology, AI accountability requires that we also thoroughly consider potential harms and benefits for individuals and groups. Among the potential harm is unjust bias, which may occur explicitly, such as when AI models make discriminatory predictions or otherwise treat a particularly uh, demographic groups or identify differently than other without justification. Assisting AI system for their potential to cause harm is made more difficult by the opacity of some AI system. In addition to being constructed using specialized knowledge, the work of AI technologies can be difficult to interpret, to explain due to both its technical complexity and intellectual property protections. Through consideration of the risk and opportunity presented by AI system will help us to identify where further clarification of existing rights and freedoms is needed, and where new rights and freedom must be tailored to the novel challenges and opportunities raised by AI machine learning. Yes. First, privacy. Privacy, AI can access enormous amount of data about individuals and process it with an incredible speed. AI can make prediction about a person's behavior, states of minds, and identify by sensing information that is not necessarily considered personal or private, such as facial expressions, heart rate, physical location, and other seemingly mundane or publicly accessible data. Widespread use of AI will prompt us to change the way we apply traditional privacy principles, whether this is an improvement or a degradation on the standards of privacy protection, however, remains to be seen. By considering privacy as a fundamental element within an ethical framework for developing AI, there is a potential for organizations to improve collection notice practices and enable individuals to have a more non-active and informed interaction with organization regarding the use and secondary use of their information. I'd like to look at this in a bit more detail about privacy. Transparency and consent. It is very important thing. Our current understanding of information privacy rests on ability of individual to exercise choices regarding the information others have about them and what is done with it. Yet, the complexity surrounding AI can mean the processes are unclear to individuals whose information is being used, making truly informed and meaningful consent unattainable. For instance, deep learning techniques can pose challenges to transparency as providing an explanation about how conclusions are drawn can at times be difficult even for those initially developing the algorithms, let alone the average individuals. Organizations will struggle to be transparent in their AI practices or they obtain consent if they cannot communicate the process to citizens. It's very important. There is much research upon the emergence of a privacy paradox, in which people expresses concern for their privacy, but in practice continue to willingly contribute their informations via the systems and technologies they use. It's called a privacy paradox. One interpretation of this paradox indicates that even when informed, individuals often have no choice but to enter an unconscionable contract to allow their data to be used. In this sense, many may feel resigned to the use of their data because they feel free, they feel there is no alternative, they think, rather than positively welcoming it. And increasing complexity of the network and system we use, combined with the widening variety of data collection method renders a binary yes/no response to consent at the beginning of transaction less and less meaningful in the modern world. While AI technologies encourage many of these challenges, they also have the potential to be a solution by presenting novel ways of explaining what is happening to an individual data within each layer of process, or enabling individuals platform for people to exercise consent, or discrimination. Discrimination, as you know, information privacy is generally regarded as an enabling right, meaning that a lot of its value lies in its ability to enable other human rights to be realized, such as the rights to freedom of association and freedom of expressions. Privacy protection can also assist in the protection against discrimination by placing controls on how information about a person can be collected, used, and disclosed. For example, information regarding an individual ethnic origin or sexual orientation has a stronger protection under privacy law. This is due to the inherent sensitive nature of the information, as you know, and aims to minimize the risk of harm that can be caused by making decisions based upon it. One of the most prominent ethical issues of AI with immediate ramification is its potential to discriminate pre- period biases and um, exacerbate exciting inequalities because algorithms are trained on existing data. They can end up replicating unwanted platform of unfairness due to the data they have ingested. Oh, well, one more note: accountability and governance. Governance and oversight are championed in information privacy law to ensure appropriate structure are in place that prevent a power imbalance between citizens and governments. This relies on the regulator ensuring that personal information is being handled appropriately. The challenges to our understanding of information privacy outlined in the section above are replicated when it comes to effectively regulating AI technology. Um, as you know, the difficulty of regulating technology has been discussed elsewhere in depth. However, some consideration with a particular relevance to AI and information privacy include AI technology is not confined to one state or jurisdiction, making it difficult to create and mention, maintain good privacy practices and governments across borders. Determining who owns the data, where it is stored, and who has responsibility for it is a complex task for the regulator. Good governance need to be based on understanding of the technology. As AI continue to develop rapidly, the long established gap between the law and technology is widening, while the complexity and wide-reaching applications of AI continues to grow. The extent to which governments should regulate AI, nothing that the absence of a regulatory framework for AI in relations to information privacy is a regulatory decision in itself. Yes. This brings me to the end of my first point. Let's now take a look at liberty and justice and relationship between AI and human rights. Liberty and justice. AI can adversely affect the liberty and justice of individuals, particularly when implemented in high impact contents such as criminal justice. The complexity and capacity opacity of AI system may interfere with the rights to a fair trial, including the rights to equality of arms, in which a party subject to an algorithm decisions can adequately examine and contest their reasoning. While the use of AI in this content may reduce arbitration and discriminatory actions, judicial decision support or informed by AI may negatively affect the making and decisional independence of the judiciary. As a result, judicial actors should have a sufficient level of understanding about the AI they use to ensure accountability for decisions made with its assistance. Um, Algorithm decision making is both increasingly common and increasingly controversial. Critics worry that the algorithmic tools are not transparent, accountable, or fair. There are widespread concerns that the growing use of machine learning algorithms in important decision may reproduce and reinforce existing discrimination against legally protected groups. Most of the attention to data on issue of algorithm based or algorithm fairness has come from computer scientists and machine learning researchers in order to fully unleash the profitable opportunities of AI. We first need to understand where biases come from. There is often an assumption that technology is natural, but the reality is far from it. Machine learning algorithms are created by people who all have biases. They are never fully objective. Rather, they reflected the world view of those who boiled them and data they fed. What should governments do to steer clear of employment discrimination algorithms? Briefly, they can start by looking to a host of legal and statistical predicting for measuring and ensuring algorithm fairness. In particular, existing legal standards that derive from domestic law, such as the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, the Civil Rights Act, and the Fair Housing Act, and the guidance from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, can help them mitigate many of the discriminatory challenges posed by AI. It's critical that governments build off existing best practices to combat unfairness in them. If deployed truthfully, the technology can be a powerful force for good. But if you used without care, it is all too easy for AI to entrench existing disparities and discriminate against all the disadvantaged groups. We can preempt some of the damage by utilizing ethical AI design principles. We also need to ensure that our algorithms are explainable, audioable, and transparent, just as we would not accept human making major decisions that affect others without any oversight or accountability. We should not accept it from algorithms. Every AI system needs to be held accountable. That's important things that came. Every AI system needs to be held accountable. We can't lose sight of the fact that AI systems are tools. They need to be designed to benefit humans, not harm them. Yes. Let's now take a look at social and economic rights. AI systems are used with increasing frequency by employers and governments in ways that put social and economic rights at risk. Employers use technology to monitor workers' behavior, disrupt, and make decisions about hiring, pay, and advantagements. In some employment contents, humans are managed primarily by algorithm decision systems, potentially affecting their economic opportunities, like wise governmental impacts on economic prosperity are implicit where AI is used to allocate public benefits and healthcare. A lack of sufficient oversight of such management may deny benefits to the deserving, treating their welfare. The automation of both eligibility determinations and allocation of government benefits can create more efficient service delivery, but can also leave those denied benefits without resources or leave them to negative, complex form and other process without compassionate assistance. Overleaping with these human rights concerns is the concentration of power that AI at- affords to its most influential private and public sector development peers and implements. The operators of major online platforms employ AI to choose what contents to display and whose voices to make prominent in services of their own rather than democratic interests. Government use AI to rank and order information and monitor and track citizens, whether done by companies or governments. AI can be used to shape opinion and suppress dissent. In response to those considerations and concerns, government should adopt a precautionary approach in the adoption and regulation of AI that balances the realization of the opportunity presented by AI while ensuring the risk to human being and human interests are minimized to the extent possible in contexts where a precautionary approach is found to be insufficient to mitigate risk. Governments should consider prohibitions on the use of AI where there is uncertainty about the level or impact of potential risk. Government should apply a higher degree of regulatory oversight and monitoring of AI system and be prepared to prohibit its use. Yes. Let's now move on to freedom of expression. A functioning democracy requires open social and political discourses and the minimization of undue influences or manipulation by any particular persons or institutions. AI places this value at risk where it is used to collect and process information about online and offline activity through logging and analyzing website and social media usage or extracting information through biometric surveillance. AI use in this way contributes to the sense that one is being watched and listens to, potentially chilling speech and political actions. AI use by social media platform determines what posts and ads are displayed, construction and experience that exploits individual interest and base to maintain engagement with the platform while potentially reinforcing divising or violence worldwide. AI is also employed to product highly realistic but fake video, fake account, and other manufactured contents that may impact a person's ability to reach informed opinion based in fact. Uh, Let me elaborate on this point. This is very important. A recent Council of Europe publication on algorithm and human rights noted, for instance, that Facebook and YouTube have adopted a filtering mechanism to detect violence, extremist content. However, no information is available about the process or criteria adopted to establish which video show clearly illegal contents. Also, one cannot but salute the initiative to stop the dissemination of such material. The lack of transparency around the contents moderation raise concerns because it may be used to restrict legitimate free speech and encroach on people's ability to express themselves. Similar concerns have been raised with regards to automatic filtering of user generated content at the point of upload, supposedly infringing intellectual property rights, which come to the force from which the posed direct of copyright of the EU. In certain circumstances, the use of automated technology for the discrimination of the contents can also have a significant impact on the rights to freedom of expression of privacy when bots, troll rhymes, target spams, or ads are used in addition to algorithms defining the display of contents. The tension between technology and human rights also manifests itself in the field of facial recognition. While these can be powerful tools for law enforcement officials for finding suspected terrorists, it can also turn into a weapon to control people. Today, it is all too easy for governments to permanently watch you and restrict the rights to privacy, freedom of assembly, freedom of movement, and press freedom. Yes. Next point, equality and non-discrimination. AI systems are capable of reproducing and augmenting the patterns of discrimination treatment that existing in the society in which they are created and used. This can occur when the stupid bases and the blind spots of system developers shape the choices made in the design and development of system. It can also occur when historical structure of inequality and discrimination become interpret in the database that are used to train AI and machine learning models. Preventing unfair treatment of individuals on the basis of race, gender, or ethnicity being a long-standing concern of civilized societies. However, detecting such discrimination resulting from decision, whether by human decision maker or automated AI systems, can be extremely challenging. The challenge is further exacerbated by the wide adopting of AI systems to automate decision in many domains, including policing, consumers, finance, higher education, and businesses. So, what should government do to steer clear unemployment discriminatory algorithm in society? I think they can start by looking to a host of legal and statistical processing for measuring and ensuring algorithm fairness. In particularly, existing legal standards that derive from domestic law, such as Equal Credit Opportunity Act, the Civil Rights Act, and the Fair Housing Act, and guidance from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission can help to mitigate many of discrimination challenges posed by AI. Well, this brings me to the end of my presentation. Conclusion: artificial intelligence raises important and urgent issue. AI is already with us, changing the information that we receive, the choices that we make, and the way in which our society functions. In the coming years, AI will play an even greater role in the way that governments and public institutions operate, and the way in which citizens interact and participation in the democratic process. It is clear that AI presents both benefits and risks. Yes, opportunity and risks, benefits and harms. We need to ensure that AI promotes and adopt and protects our standards. AI is a broad concept encompassing multiple applications that to think requiring intelligence. All these applications may have a significant impact on human rights. On the one hand, they may contribute to the advancement of human rights. On the other hand, they can pose an obvious risk to human rights. One needs only to think of the many instances where based algorithms discriminate ethical monetaries. This framework calls for a reflection and a discussion on the interaction between AI and human rights. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening session. You covered a variety of topics pertaining to the intersection between human rights and artificial intelligence in this last 1 hour. So that was great. So I would request, if there are any questions from the participants, you can please go ahead. Any questions from any of the participants? All right. So in the meanwhile,
Yes.
sir, I would like to ask a question to you with respect to the intersection between intellectual property rights and artificial intelligence. Yeah, so right now, if we see, we don't like in India, definitely we don't have any law as far as the intersection of these two go. I'm not really sure about Afghanistan. As far as the European Union is concerned, the parliament was considering to bring in a law, but it hasn't really gone through at the moment. So what is your take on it? Like, let's say using artificial intelligence, some intellectual property is created, so who owns that property? How do we get that protection? What is your broad take on that?
Yes. Thank you for your both your questions. Uh, Dr. Faiz, as you know, AI in fact touched on many aspects of my mandate, as its use can negatively affect a wide range aspects of society.
I believe we have lost Professor Murtaza. We can just wait for a while. Yeah, so I've just received a message from Professor that he is not able to reconnect. He has got internet issues, but the good thing for us is that he was almost done with his presentation. So I thank you, all the viewers, for turning up and watching this session live. Thank you so much. We are concluding the session. Thank you very much.